All right, everyone. Commissioner Trost, are you ready?
I am.
Well, good. I know Commissioner Herzog's ready.
Yes, sir.
So this is our workshop with Garrett doing his presentation. So we'll call this workshop to order, and if you'll stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, amendment and approval of the agenda.
Move approval with no amendments.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, motion passes 3-0, or amendment passes 3-0. All right, discussion, community development, code compliance, program policy and procedures, which is in our packet, which I went over yesterday, and Garrett is ready to present. The floor is yours, Garrett.
Thank you. So, yeah, the policy and procedures manual is brand new. Just came up with it, and I think it's a great starting point for the position that was just created. That should be starting here very soon. As far as you know, what's in this is it's just a framework on how to perform the job. I mean, it is the mindset in which the individual should be taking forward into the field. It is how to do certain procedures such as citations, taking it to court. There's just nothing specific. It's pretty generalized, but yeah, I just think it's a great tool for the new code compliance officer to be able to use to kind of figure out what is the expectation of them in this new position. So I don't know if you've all had a chance to read it, and if you have any questions about it.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I talked to Garrett earlier and said, man, that's a good job.
You did a lot of work on it.
Yeah. And I always like the end of it when it says, you know, it's a work in progress, right? We can always take away and add to, and so, no, good.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Garrett and I talked about this last week during an interview or after an interview, so.
Yeah, it's I've asked that all of my staff write standard operating procedures on how to perform their job duties, and how to.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Okay. I see.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, and so that's what we've been doing, is rewriting job descriptions and internal policies and procedures. So I you know, since this is coming in under my management, I wanted to do the same. Felt that it was necessary. So. Yeah.
A lot of hard work. Good job taking the lead.
So, next line of business. Okay.
Yep, we can go to building code.
Yeah, so that kind of segues into that last bit. One piece that we never had in the county code was penalties. So that is the majority of what was added in. There were some additions in the beginning of what our department can and cannot administer. There are certain things that can only be administered through local adoption, so that, you know, those items were brought in. And some of these things are fairly minor, but I believe important. For whatever reason, the fire code was not in the original language, so I wanted to bring that in specifically, so that, you know, even though most of that language is in the commercial code, that it was specifically brought into our ordinance. Yeah, most everything else was just clarification language, but then once you get to the very back, that's when you're gonna see those, I believe, 3 new sections. Penalties, what is it, penalties, remedies, and violations. So that kind of, I guess, gives the code compliance officer a little bit more teeth under this code. So that way, when we find illegal construction, we have a little bit more that we can do about it. So, anybody have any questions on those additions or changes?
I didn't have anything on that, Garrett. Again, it was very thorough, it was very complete, and very consistent with other counties, et cetera. So, no, outstanding job.
Thank you. So the last thing that I had to present to you was the building division fee schedule. And I know it's not time to bring this forward to a commissioner's business meeting to be adopted, but we're mandated a 45-day noticing period. So I kind of needed a soft approval from the commission, saying that as it is written, even though you're not formally approving it and adopting it, you agree with it and approve it for me to be able to take it forward to the state so that they can notice it and start that period, so then I can bring it back to you guys at a later date for official approval. So
consensus.
yeah.
And that complies even though this is a workshop and not a.
Well, we're not voting.
Right.
You're not voting to approve it, you're if you had any questions, any concerns, comments, any things you'd like me to change on it, I would like to know that now so that we can still get that in
Gotcha.
In our timeframe to notice the state.
Well, I'll go first, Garrett, because based on our conversation the other day and what I've reviewed in here, I mean, it looks good to me.
Okay.
I mean, I would agree with everything that you have in it.
Yeah, so one of the things that I did was I came up with my justification for why I raised the fees to what they are, and I don't that was in the packet, I believe. So, and what that shows is my hourly rate, my averaged with my other inspector, transportation costs, those things. Distances to the average distances to inspections. So we came up with a good average number to be able to use to justify, the expense of doing these inspections and just the number of inspections per permit.
Right.
And so that's the math that was used to come up with these numbers. That way, it's not an arbitrary. I'm not trying to increase it by a percentage. I mean, these are justifiable increases just because. The cost of doing business is going up, so we're trying to keep up with that. We just don't want to be, of course, pulling a negative. We want to try to keep costs pointed in the right direction so that we can keep paying for ourselves.
Yep.
Well, I can tell you that if this was brought forward in future meetings, I would be inclined to also agree with it.
Likewise.
Very
You
good.
needed a head nod.
Excellent. And I guess that's all I had to bring forward to you guys. So, appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate you guys' time.
Well, and I also want to say thank you, Garrett. I've sat in on a couple of your interviews for various positions in your department, and you've done a really thorough, complete, and just a really good all-around job in the way that you're selecting people, and that's very impactful here. And I just want to say I appreciate it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I just also want to acknowledge the fact that, initially when we approached you about taking on this oversight role, you had no hesitation. You were very inclined to and willing to do so, and you noted things that you had already identified that needed to be changed and updated, and you took the initiative to change and update in preparation for the person to come on with all the tools needed to be successful. So, I mean, that's it's great leadership.
Yep.
Yep, it's what we need more of, for
Yeah.
sure. So, thank you, Garrett. Any discussion?
No?
John?
No, sir.
Anything? Ted?
Nope.
All right, then we will adjourn this workshop. Thank you, everyone.
That might be